Let's say you observe a Shabbos table, and it's very beautifully set up. The moichin compel you to find out why is it set up like this. What's the spirit behind it? This means pnimi v'yetzer. B'tzad midas, it's very pleasant. It's a machaya. Moichin are not satisfied with this at all, and he wants to know why is it what's behind it, what's the principle behind it. Like we explained many times in other Indian, he said if a person joins into a chasana and he joins all the people, he said there's food galore and he can come and take food along with everybody else. With midos, he's perfectly satisfied. The food is good, the company is good, people don't push him away, everything is good. Except he's missing the essential in what this is about. And a human being, because he is a baseichel, will definitely feel uncomfortable. He's missing the whole thing, the whole principle about.
If he's not a guest.
If he's not a guest, if he's not invited. Just this one thing, that being invited changes his whole perspective. Although it does not change anything on the practical level. All right.
Was that an answer to the question?
Yes, it's intended that way.
Okay.
What's the question after
The question
this?
was, what's the difference between, why not call it etzem? Why call it pnimi? Why not call
Because
it
it's
etzem?
not etzel. It's a koyach.
Right.
So why is it called pnimi? Not maka. Pnimi means not maka or not chitzli. What's pnimi?
Pnimi means it wants to know what is the real thing that's going on.
So why is that called? I'm still struggling. Why is it called pnimi? Pnimi means inside. What's the definition of pnimi?
Pnimi means inside. But now, with Seichel, we have to understand what does inside mean. We have so much discussion on this. What is the difference between observing the room from outside and being inside? What's the difference? And we said an interesting thing, that when you're inside, you see much less than when you're outside. And yet you know more. And everything that you can observe from outside, you know from inside without seeing it. How is that? Because you see it as an insider. From an insider perspective. What is this about? Why is this over here? Not what's the decoration, what does it look like?
Is it correct to say like pnimi means like we look at it at the perspective from like this the thing itself?
That's right. Pnimi means you look at it from the viewpoint of the one who made it.
remain on this call, press 1.
All right, so we are on page Kuf Yud, the second section.
The key page.
Excuse me, it's the key page.
Yeah, Kufyud, the key page.
The key page. A key in Polish Yiddish is a baima.
Oh.
You gotta start playing on words.
In Polish Yiddish?
Okay. So, prior to this section, because of our pardes, we discussed the principle of moichin. How are moichin effective? What do moichin contribute to world? As moichin. Because we explained prior to that moichin are for internal consumption, for oneself. Moichin is significant even to the one who first uncovers the soul in it. Moichin is not for the purpose of dissemination of affecting others. Moichin is for the purpose of knowing oneself for oneself. And yet at the same time we're saying that moichin is for the sake of world. But world is outside. So the explanation that was said till now, that yes, indeed, there's a world, and the world is an outside a mitzias. But the world is a divine creation. And if the world were created exclusively with the creative powers of midos, the world would be just world, would not have a godly spirit. And would not have the access and the ability to know and to understand Elokus. Because there is the effect of moichin on the midos, which is why the moichin, after they're created, the oilamos, after they're created, there is the ability to recognize Elokus in the world, and not only to recognize but to understand it and to be masik Elokus. In simpler terms, at our level, even though midos are in a mitzias of world, in a personal mitzias, in the midos is sensed the source of the midos. What is this about? The nefesh element. We discussed this many times, just to make a very simple statement. When a person when one loves his child. You love the child because the child is lovable. The child is very close to you. At the same time, there is also the sense of a higher level. You love the child, and you know something. It is a correct thing to do that, to love a child. It is not just my personal experience, but there's something true and right about it. The relationship between parent and child is meant to be not just the parent creates a child, but the parent continues to bestow love and affection on the child. And the child likewise responds in similarly.
And this is called panini.
This is a reflection of the pnimiyus of Moichin.
That we do it as
No,
correct thing.
no, you're not. No. You ask a question. Let me finish my answer. Pru'urvu u'milo zo'oretz v'chivshua. That's a mitzvah of having children. Individually, you have a child. He is your child. He is kovish your home. He's not kovish the world. He's not part of the world. He's part of your own home. There's a common expression, while the child is small and lovable and cuddly, you love him. Once he grows up, stands on his own feet, and he disagrees with you, you lose your affection for him. That's Kitzonius. That means you don't have a pnimi understanding of what a child is. You don't understand the essence of what a child is. If a human being, if the experience of a human being, the life of a human being, were without moichin, his personal experience of life, then yes, indeed, yes, you want to have a child, you don't want to. It's a cuddly thing. It's a very occupying, a very pleasant thing to have a child. Is that what a child is? A child is that which complements the whole existence of the human being. The Pasuk says, Al Yomer HaSoris Hinani Eitz Yovesh. Everybody knows this Pasuk from the Haftarah. If he doesn't have a child, he's an Eitz Yovesh. He's not a living thing. He's not a living human being. Because life, by its very nature, by its very makeup, extends further. Begets more life. Sorry. Why? So this is what the Pasuk says. Pruvu. Umilo za'aretz v'chivshuha. What's v'chivshuha about? You have more children. No, sure, you have to. That having children has to go all the way to the ultimate purpose of what this is about. The kipshur, that's the pnimius of pruvu. We sing in davening. V'mar lo niga lo rik, v'lo neiled la behola. What means neiled la behola? We have children, and children get lost in the world. It cannot be a greater pain. Okay. Because of our pardes shom bezel shein.
Where are we?
We are because of our pardes, because of on the top of this section.
Oh, the beginning of the...
Yeah.
So what is this mushal with the child? Where does this go back to? Just returning to the
To
mitzvah.
explain what's the name of pnimi. What's the pnimi? Why is making pnimi? And what is the pnimius aspect of making?
And the mushal is matar. Av chitoni versus av pnimi.
And what is the pnimius of a child? As I said, the pnimius of a child, the real divine definition of a child is mil horetz v'chavshua. And if it's lacking this, you have a child. The child knows how to eat, how to play baseball, and make business, but there is not the divine input onto the world. There's something missing. There's missing the pnimius of what this is about. Which aspect in the person relates to this pnimius? This is the moichin. The midas do not recognize this. So at midas you have a child, and you just love him because he has a beautiful smile. Okay? Because of our pardes, Shom is all Hashem. In the same place as we quoted before from the pardes, where he says that Moichin is also the Tzoyrech O'Elamus. And then we went into a long discussion, bringing out and explaining how are O'Elamus beneficiaries of the Nin from Moichin. So the Pardes writes further, Ki koidem hispashas hamidos, that before that the midas were mispashet.
After I wake up with the mina, after I make sure the mina loose.
You have to.
I got him.
We shut you up. Wait, you walk up too late, brother.
From his face.
Okay, I'll call
Turned
you
off his
back.
face, I guess.
I heard it in conference, okay? You walk up too late.
Tell him
Okay,
to-
I'm going to call him back.
Tell him to call the
Call the
number.
other number.
Okay.
See, you close someone's mouth, they're like, hey, you can't see my face.
What? What do you call a one-eyed man
Nick,
who gets drunk? You say about him. He made a monocle of himself.
Aber PALTIEL.
Monocle of himself.
Oh no, you're too educated for
No, you don't get it. It's a very punny joke. I'll explain later. Yeah.
They had audio.
Yeah, all these
Ah,
guys.
yes.
Lots of it.
How's your connection? Maybe it was a connection problem. But also,
It was fine. My video was fine.
okay, you just couldn't hear a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. But also, it looks like there's a call-in number now. It's a new feature where, especially in your case, you can just dial in.
How come? Oh, this is
Yes,
off?
Yeah.
And off.
Disconnected.
He said good. He said like this is the correct
Connected
thing.
to mobile device.
We answered it right now. Same thing.
Koi dem is pashos amidas. Before that the midas spread forth. Very briefly, we'll try to explain, so to speak, everything that's been brought out, but there's a limit of how we can go with this. We have this illustration of being inside the room and being an observer from outside. The principal difference is that when inside, you're not, you don't have the sense that you're observing something external. You're observing it as an insider. You become an insider yourself. You see it from an insider's perspective. There is nothing external, no mitzias in the world that you're observing. When you're standing outside and you're observing, then the same room now becomes an entity in the world. You can even call somebody else and say, look at this. This, what's called hispashtus, this opening up of something of an internal significance, meaning to be presented and presentable and be present and recognized outside, this is called hispashtus amidas. And this is affected also by moichin. Seichel is able to, it draws from the nefesh, and it draws the significance of this. And then Seichel provides for a place of midas. Says there is room for this to be expressed on the outside. After that, there is this hispashtus, and now there is this room, and now you're inside the room. You're inside the room as we discussed. Then, with your seichel, with the moichin, there is an interesting kind of a combination. On the one hand, you're in the room. You're not in yourself. There is an external presence there, but you are viewing this external presence as an insider, from an insider's perspective, as if you're still inside, although in fact it's outside. This is when meichin and nisgala. Now, moichin, this is the important thing that in this, understanding this whole process, we understand that moichin are not created at the time when you have a challenge. What is this room about? What is this about? You have to answer the question. Moichin are not created by the external observation. Moichin creates that which is external. It allows the external also to be. But moichin start off from the highest level, understanding what this is all about on an internal basis. And then it provides also how this is going to be expressed externally. Now, this external effect, and the finality, so to speak, when it's expressed externally, it's expressed externally because there is a recognition. Let me use the word that we said before. Pru-urvu milos haaretz. And then v'chifshu. Pru-urvu, that we can readily understand. This is a midas element. Milos haaretz, we can also kind of relate to. Milos haaretz, what is that talk about? Which haaretz? The haaretz that exists separate from you. Milos haaretz. Everyone knows what that means. Milos haaretz, fill the earth. This is something which is separate. It doesn't come from you, from pru-urvu milos haaretz. Milos haaretz, the earth, there is an earth, and milos haaretz. Then there is a last moment, kipshua. What does kipshua mean? Kipshua means retranslate it in your own spirit. Humanize it, because really it belongs to you. You think the world is not an external thing. No, it was created because of you, and the root of the earth is in you. Like we said many times, what would the world be without a human being? It'd be nothing. So that ultimately, the entire spread, external spread, is really inspired from an internal source. Midas are external. But who creates midas? The deepest internal limit, the deepest union of the moichin, that was what created midas. Because inside moichin there is a recognition that keeps sure that this truth that you recognize at the very source, this truth has to be permeated, has to be expressed, and it permeates everything. This earth, you have to be kovish. Why do you kovish the earth? What do you need the earth for? In order to express the divine truth in the world, how there's only Elokus, nothing else, you have to take the earth and be kovish it. So the pardes explains like this. This Indian, that you have to be koivish, that which is external, was not created after the external experience is present. Not only, the earth is challenging, that's contradicting, that's contrary to Achdas Hashem, you have to koivish it. That's not when it begins. That began all the way from the source itself. That there is moichin, internal moichin, recognizing this truth on the atzmus level. That there is let's look inside now. His pashas amidas, hoya mischakim be'atzmusay. Hoya mischakim be'atzmusay. He was mischakim. He recognized and focused on the chokhmah be'atzmusay internally, within himself. The chokhmah, mischakim in his atzmus and his chokhmah, b'hasogat atzmusay. The hasogat atzmusa in comprehending, quote unquote, atzmusa, his essence. What is the hasog of atzmus is? Hasog of atzmus is that hu levadi hu vein zolose, that there's only he and nothing else. This is hasogat atzmusa. You know I'm quoting from Tanya, right? Everybody knows that. Because he and his chokhmah, hakoil esem echad. It is all one essence. This is a quote from the pardes. I want to go just a little bit further. V'nira hakavon. It appears, as a lesson from REBBE, it appears that the kavanah, the intent on the pardes in saying this, he is referring to al chokhmah ubal ubino. He is referring to the chokhmah bina hakulim bein soibor. The chokhmah bina that is included in ein soibor. What is ein soib? Have to have chokhmah. In ein soib there is this inyan of chokhmah. Again, just in our terms, this inyan that Elokus is everywhere. Not the Mitzad Atzmus is the Hulavadi Hu Vein Zolosei. Mitzad Chochma, it can spread everywhere, and then it is koivish and brings it inside.
I thought Chochmah was angel also. Isn't that the quote from Tanya?
Yeah, but this angel also, yes. This is the name of angel also. And this angel also is not only while it is inside. Even when it goes outside, it's also inside. Because it's koivish everything. It brings everything back. This is Chochmah Bina HaKulim Be'Yisrael, but Chochmah Bina that is called in the Insof. In other words, there is in Chochmah Bina in the Insof. Why? Because in the Insof there is an inyan that should it spread, it would be contained within the Insof. By knowing himself, he knows the Torah. The Torah, this is the truth of the Atzmas itself. Now this is comparable to the from Machshava and Dibur. The Chochma, the way it is in Etzem, and the way it is expressed, is like Machshava and Dibur. And what is the Machshava and Dibur? Dini had Dibur who Bishvil Azulis. Dibur is Bishvil Azulis is for the sake of outside. Masha Engin Machshava. Whereas in Machshava, an interesting thing, Machshava is also an external thing.